Hey guys, how you doing? Anonymous here. We are going to be building another MiSTer FPGA for a friend. Everything that's included in this kit is the main Thoracic DE10 Nano, the MiSTer IO board. What this does is this gives you a fan and then 3 buttons. This is the home button, the menu, and then like a reset. It also allows you to see like your disk access. It gives you analog video and audio out, as well as optical audio out. This video can be set up as for RGB or for component. You have a USB I/O, which is not USB, it's just using a USB port, which might be used later for in and outs, like joysticks. And you have a secondary SD card up there, which came, this Thoracic DE10 Nano came with an 8 gig. We're going to format that and use that in the secondary slot. We have a heat sink, which will apply to the main core, the main CPU. RAM expansion. All of these parts, these 2 parts right here, are available. I have a link below with a discount using Zero himself. It's an Etsy store. We're going to be using a 128GB SD card. We have an OTG USB hub, which will mount underneath. And then I have a wireless keyboard, and then of course the power, which is included with the DE10 Nano. We have some hex stand-ups as well. So let's get started. Let's get started on the software, since that will be running in the background, and then we'll build our MiSTer out. Okay. So for the software, what you want to do is you want to download this SD installer tool. If you go to the main MiSTer wiki, go to the setup guide. The setup guide will tell you everything that you need. Prepare the SD card. So download that latest SD installer from here, and that's what I have ready to go. So from that, let's see, we get the release card. Let me put the we gotta cut the SD card out here. I got a new knife here today. Yeah, it's pretty. The Kickstarter that I've been waiting for a while. What's that? Flea? No. So you can use any like SD card reader. I have a few that I use. This is the main one I use because it seems to be the fastest. Alright, so that SD card was recognized. We want to, in this, make sure that it is recognized here. It says that it's the, 100 USB device 119 free. So I usually start with a wipe. And then do a full install. Ask if you want to continue. It's going to open a bunch of folders. And it's gonna ask you if you want to format them, and you just hit cancel. If you did it correctly, you'll see this full install for disk 3 finished successfully. We'll just close all these windows. So what it does is it creates 3 partitions. It creates 3 partitions, and one of them is a FAT32 accessible partition right here that you'll see. So you'll have in this will just be like Linux, menu, MiSTer, and MiSTer example. This is an example of the INI file. So from here, we either start downloading the RBF files, which are the cores, and then just placing them into the main root, or you could use something like the Smoke Monster ROM pack. What that does is it gives you, folder structure as well as some ROMs that are not copyrighted or trademarked or any of that business. So we already have that prepared, and unfortunately I cannot give you a link to that, so please don't ask in a later video or a comment. But see, this is basically the file structure. So it will give you some scripts, and then they do what's recommended is they do underscore and then the main directory, so arcade, computer, console, utility, and then these are all the ROM files. So we're gonna start copying that over. Just into the root of the directory that's available. Hello, Mr. Denisi. Scott, somebody was asking me today where to buy a TNA. Do you know any distributors that have any left over? Alright, so while that's copying, we're gonna go to the assembly. Alright. Oh yeah, so we gotta, when that's done also, we need to format this secondary SD card. All I know is that they're all gone. Are they all gone from Spooky, or are they all gone from, like, oh yeah. Well, somebody would have to call around to distributors, I guess. I wish I had a little pad for this. Some anti-static mailer should be fine. Oh man, it is gone for now then. Hey Proc, yeah, this is your MiSTer that we're building. So what I'm doing here is I'm rearranging some things. If you're doing the in and out board, the analog audio, you're gonna have to take off this top shield. If you're not, and you just want if you just want to use the system, you can just plug in the RAM expansion and you're good to go, if you're just doing HDMI out. But where this console really shines is doing HDMI out and component or RGB. Alright, so we're going to use these two back, I think. Then we're going to use these two back, and then we're going to relocate these to the bottom. The old sock wrench in a sock. What's up, Ari Savage? How you doing? I wonder if I could have... There you go, nice. The display captures in the corner. So we're transferring files over in the background. Brock, are you excited for this? What games are you gonna play first? Good old Nintendo. Alright, so we want to replace these two smaller standoffs right here with larger ones. What we're doing is we're just making a spacer so that the USB hub will fit underneath. And Proc, I'm going to put this underneath for your bottom to mount the USB hub. But I can give you a file to 3D print if you want, like just a square. On mine I did a custom square. Which ones I use? I think yeah, there's a double hollow one. Is this it? A little bigger. Oh, that one. I think it's probably that one. You'll laser cut something? Okay. Do you even want me to mount this USB hub then? Sure, okay. Ready? So, we're going to install the RAM module now. The RAM module goes on this side over here. You'll know it's correct if you do the pins and it goes in one here. So it's like a combo unit. Okay. Now the I/O. This has one of the pins too, like right here. There's a little pin sticking out, so you want to make sure that goes in correctly. Come on now. How was TPF? It looked like a good show. I went to it last year. I had a lot of fun. I just want to make sure that we're not... Maybe you want to do the I/O first instead of the RAM, so let's do that. The new 4.0 Smoke Monster pack is all okay. So what we were having is this pin was not going in line. Oh, is the music too loud? Let me know, because I never know. I don't use headphones. Okay, that looks better. Oh, it has pins over here too. Yeah, so definitely install this one first, this side first. Music is good? Great. What about the new Black Knight? It looks amazing. It looks like there's a giant bash tool in the middle. Kind of like Champion Pub. It's got ramps. I am excited. Alright, do the RAM card. Now, doesn't feel like the RAM's going all the way flush. Okay, there we go. So I had to, it wasn't. I had to bend it this way because the PCB board was getting, in the way, so it's something to look at. And we're gonna add the USB hub. Oh, what we forgot actually is the heatsink. Great, now I don't have another good YouTube video. Man, I'm never gonna get one of these correctly. I don't know why. They did that for some other show too, where they revealed it right after. I thought it was really goofy. Yeah, apply the heatsink. The files are done transferring over. And it's asking replace the files, and I just hit yes, because I have a custom MiSTer.ini. And then we'll run the update after that. Alright, so the files are over, or transferred over. Now we're gonna work on the 8 gigabit card. We gotta get rid of the partitions before we can format it though. Let's see. All right. So you just want to delete all the partitions and then create a new smart partition. Or volumes. Alright, let's try inserting it. Alright, that should be good. Alright, so the new formatted card goes into the top. This is accessed by some computer cores, but most of it now is all done on the SD card. And then the formatted prepared SD card goes into the bottom. Okay. Alright, we'll mount it right here. We're making a MiSTer FPGA. It's basically like a console and computer emulator, but instead of software emulation, it does hardware emulation. And it has, you know, if you configure it correctly, it'll have every game ever. Pretty awesome. No, I want it facing that way. It's good, Natty. How you doing, bud? I was thinking about you today. Yeah, wondering why no reveal at TPF. I don't think the game's done. I think they probably have to work on the mechanics and code. You know, you can get a pretty rendered image for like a promo for releasing photos. So it'll probably be ready for Expo. Should I ask why? Oh, I'll just hope you're doing well, man. No tissue, nothing tissue time worthy. Did I answer everybody's question? Sorry, I was looking at chat, but I was also making sure I was doing this correctly. So the OTG just goes this adapter next to the Ethernet, next to the macro. It actually doesn't look too bad. Oh, and Brock, I have like little rubber feet, but if you're not going to use this as your final one, then I'll just throw them in the I'll throw them in the box if I can find them. Couldn't find them before the stream. So it's done. This is done pretty much. We should have to test it now. I have a keyboard we'll test. And then I have a USB controller we'll test. My other MiSTer's running as well, but let's switch over to the... There we go. Oh, hi, Cam. Alright, so... So now after you get it set up for the first time, what you want to do is you want to hit either the middle button or the menu button, or F12, sorry, and you want to run this script. Oh, I need to hook it up to the internet, damn it. Well, shit. Yeah, I just have HDMI, power, and then a USB hub hooked up with a wireless keyboard and a controller. So it will automatically sign onto the internet. That's my address, that .10. Well, let me turn the hot jams down a little bit. You want to go to the scripts, and under scripts you can you want to run the update. If you're not starting with a MiSTer or the Smoke Monster pack, you can download this update script directly on the GitHub. So this is like super satisfying because it downloads like every core. So we didn't carry over we didn't transfer over any cores or anything, like just ROMs. So this is getting the latest, and it'll automatically do this. Not automatically do this, but whenever you run the updater, it'll automatically download if it's connected to the internet. Yeah, it's like super satisfying to like set one up and then run all this scripting. This song is weird, it's like fading in and out. You're not gonna leave the house for a week. Just remember to shower, that's all that matters. And then after this, we'll explore the what's up, Ilo? We'll explore FTPing into it. All right. You're heading to Vegas Wednesday. Isn't there a show coming out Wednesday? Or a show coming up in Vegas? Wishing you can sell your Metallica and get an Iron Maiden. If Black Knight looks as awesome as it looks, I would consider buying one without even playing it. It looks, if it has the features I think it has, yeah, I'm gonna be into it. And Proc says, earlier said, I'm normally such a purist for original stuff, but this is exciting. Oh, so it has naturally a screensaver. That's what just happened. Me too, Proc. I normally, pride it on playing on original hardware. I'm not really even prided over it, just I prefer it because, playing on a PVM and not having input lag. But with the MiSTer and the convenience of it, I can't tell the difference. It's just easier for me to play on the MiSTer than it is through original consoles. Alright, I think I got everybody's answers. Stitch, are you here? I'll be doing the FTP part next. You'd be curious to see the high-res images when they drop. Looks like... What Jersey Jack teaser did they drop? I think the rumor is that tomorrow we'll be they'll be revealing or putting up photos for Black Knight, especially with that one photo leaking. Yeah, I'm not sure when Monsters released. It was for IAPA show, I thought. Not IAPA, Oh, a Dead Flip did a stream of it. Yeah, that's a pretty good assumption. Willy Wonka. Well, then Stern will probably definitely reveal photos tomorrow if they have them. What do you guys think about 11.5 Jersey Jack Waz Super LE versus them just making more pirates? I'm kind of bummed about it. Monsters was in November, so 4 months. Almost 5. Yeah, I mean, Stern's been doing 2 to 3 games a year. And before that, there was a spacer because they did Beatles, and they did a re-release. Yeah, I'd be interested in Wonka too. I mean, I think Skip Natty would as well. So what it's downloading now is all kinds of like scan like filters. I use Gaussian Sharp 7 nearest neighbor 7 for my capture because it just looks super crisp. You wanted one at the 885 price points? Well, I think what that will do is the super duper collectors, they're going to be selling their Wizard of Oz for a little bit cheaper, and you'll be able to buy that. Just make sure you don't buy an early board or an early Waz because they have so many issues. Buy one with the later boards. And the 11.5 one doesn't even have the monkey mech. It's yellow. That's what I think, Ilo. I think Jersey Jack needed money. Because I think they took a big loss on Pirates because of people canceled because of the pre-orders. I heard so many of my friends personally say that they canceled their pre-order when the spinner gate happened. The spinner, them going down to one spinner. Because before that, you have to think people just played the game at shows, right? And did not play well. The prototypes did not play well at shows. They're pretty clunky. They had issues. And then they say they're not going to be, you know, they're taking away they lost a lot of the rights for the art on the video, and then they got down to one spinner. I think a lot of people pulled out then, and it was delayed almost a year. So, unfortunately, Pirates is an amazing game. The Twippies shows that. People that have played Pirates, you know, it seems to be like a really well-playing game. It's a shame that, you know, things didn't work out. Hopefully they'll reconsider doing another run of Pirates. So hopefully it's not an 11.5 game, but yeah, I don't think Waz was the right move. They might just need capital though. What I did in my head, just estimating, if they sell 200 Wazes at the price that they have, that's $1 million profit coming in. So they might need that. I wonder what the numbers on actual Waz's made are. Is, you know, it's probably not that much. All right, so we just did a bunch of updates, so we're going to reset it. Probably turn my other MiSTer off so it finds it easily. Come on, baby. How is it? Well, let me check the I have an auto-sensing switch, but sometimes it's goofy. There we go. Okay. So from here, there's a few things you want to do in the scripts menu. Alright, we want to set... Proc, do you plan to use this with a PVM? Or with component? PVM, okay. So we're gonna set the C-Sync on. So most of these, what we're doing is we're editing the MiSTer.ini, which is in /config. You can get to them manually if you want. But these scripts make it a lot easier. Alright, we want to set, if you, Proc can do this later, HDMI audio to 96K. If you're hooking this up and your whatever receiver or TV supports this 96K audio, it sounds excellent. So you want that. We want to do recent time zone. Or the current time zone. Oh yeah, we want to do a font download. Wait, I might have already installed the fonts. I did. But there is a, there should be a font download. I don't think I installed it in this one. But there's going to be a script coming out to download fonts, because you can actually customize the fonts, which in the menu, which looks really good. And we also want to make sure we're at 1080p 60. So we'll just double check and set that here. Okay, so now we're going to FTP into it. So it's 110. Alright, so you do the IP address here. This is a this is Win SCP. So we're going to, you put the IP address that's listed there. Your username is root and your password's 1. You log in here. It goes into the last directory. But this main directory that we're going to be editing is in root. You go to media, fat, and then this is the fat directory. This is the directory that you'll see if you put the SD card into a Windows computer. So a lot of the older ROMs are copied over if you're using a Smoke Monster pack. If not, you have to copy zips or, you know, folders of ROMs over. But the newest MiSTer, or the, you know, last couple, like a month ago, they support zip files. So everything's nicely compressed and contained in a zip file. Alright, the config file we were talking about earlier is in here. It's the MiSTer INI config file. And this is where you can make some adjustments. So composite sync is on. You're gonna need composite sync if you're using RGB out. You know, you can get really cheap monoprice VGA to RGB or to BNC out to hook up to a PVM. There's also VGA to component cables. This right here, the VGA scaler, you can do VGA out to like 480p, and you just put the scaler on 1, and that will, you know, make it so you can use just a cheap, any kind of cheap computer monitor. In your DVI mode or your video mode, so we're on 8, which is 1080p 60. And then there is fonts here. Let me put the font code in here. I just gotta find it again, 1 second. Forgot who posted it. I'm looking on the Smoke Monster Discord. Good place for information. Okay, it's right here. So the fonts, normally these scripts would have like a font download script. But the fonts are stored in this font folder. So you can change any of the game fonts to any of these, which is pretty awesome. So you would just take, in the MiSTer INI file in the config, we're going to add a line of code for adjusting the font. So this would make it the Kevtris file. And I'll show you guys what that looks like. So we'll just save it and reboot it. Come on, Switch. This is my HDMI switch acting up. Also might be the crappy HDMI cable. But you see how the font changed, basically, is what I'm trying to show you here. I'm sure that's related to the Switch, so nothing to worry. I'm gonna change it back to normal. You just put a semicolon to uncomment. Looks like on the spacebar. Alright, well that's everything. I guess we should test the games. If it's still giving a bad, but we'll just we'll test to see that everything works. Oh, I forgot to. What we want to do also is program the joystick. I'm taking the joystick. So for any of these ones, if you have analog, you want to do these tilt right and left right things. And for any ones that you don't, you want to just hit spacebar to skip over them. Now you can control with your joystick. So you hit the menu or F12 to change the games. Left and right goes pages. You can hit the first letter to skip down to the game. Something new in this latest NES core is palettes. Well, expanded palettes actually, and I like this blown out one called Sony CXA. For the scale filters, you're going to... Mine's already pre-configured, but normally it's on this. So if you look at the HDMI, you'll see it gets a little bit crisper when I switch back and forth. So when you turn it on, you can then select a custom HDMI filter. This Gaussian sharp is just super sharp. Then you want to hit save settings. I think my controller's already going to be configured. Oh wait, it says not mapped. Okay. So you want to, they used to auto map, but you just go to define NES buttons. Right, left, down, up, A, B, select, start. Space for any of the ones that you're not going to use. And then save settings. My capture doesn't have sound, so we'll just look at this real quick. Plus, I'm playing off HDMI. Which has a little bit of lag. Oops. Alright. So let's check out another core. Yeah, Skip, dude, you definitely do. It's like the best investment for streamers, because you can spit out to... I mean, you play on HDMI, so you can just do that. Or if you wanted to, you could buy a TV or PVM that supports component or RGB, and then play on that, and then spit out 1080p to the stream. Hootie DOS! So, in the menu, there's some of these cores have different types of files that they use. So, you want to make sure that you're trying to load the correct type of file. So, if you said load PRGs, you're going to want to go into the PRG area. Yeah, it does RGB and HDMI at the same time, which is insane. Oh, just about to load and I hit reset. Damn it. Dude, on this keyboard, this latest version of the Logitech wireless keyboard, they have the function keys as... They have all the media keys as the main key, and then the function key you have to hold down... Like, if you want to hit F4 or F1, you have to hold down function and then hit the button. It's the first time I've ever seen where the top row keys are not... Usually the media keys are secondary. So, if you buy one of these Logitechs... Which I use another one. I use an older one. Make sure to get like the later model. Don't get like this newer gray one, because you're gonna have to use the function keys. You have to hit multiple buttons. And the button. Oh yeah. So. Oops. For a lot of these computers too, you want to make sure you're running it in the correct, you know, if it needs to be PAL or if it needs to be NTSC. But I'm sure you'll know that. Alright, so this thing works fully, so we're going to transfer over to my setup because it's hooked up to the PGM or the PVM. Just 1 second, guys. We're done with this system. So here's your completed MiSTer unit. Pretty awesome. This USB hub didn't come out bad. Okay. Sexy AF. If any of you guys want one of these MiSTers and you don't want to set it up yourself, I can help you out. I'm not making money on these. I'm trying to get them in people's hands because I think it's so amazing.